that. Joining us right now to talk about that is Chris Smith from Mass Live, who is out in sunny San Diego. Is it sunny in San Diego, Chris? I bet it is.
Oh, it's beautiful in San Diego.
Oh, that's nice. That's real nice. Tell I already told you this, but tell Don Orsillo we all miss him. Hope he's doing well, and I hope you're doing well too. How's things been on the beat lately? Since it was a tough deadline, and then the Red Sox whip off this crazy win streak. How's it been covering this team lately?
Yeah, I mean this is a team that I don't think cares at all what the front office does, and they just believe in each other. Which I've never experienced that like as this much as a baseball team, like covering any baseball team. I mean, usually, they're vocal if they didn't do enough at the deadline. They felt like they wanted more, that type of thing. I mean, we saw it after Christian Vasquez was traded a couple of years ago. I mean, that rocked the clubhouse. Everybody was upset. Xander Bogaerts was vocal about it back then. This team, though, it's like they trade Rafael Devers, and everybody's like business as usual the next day. They think they're going to the playoffs. And, and then this deadline, they get Dustin May, who's not a good pitcher, and it's business as usual. They think they're going to the playoffs. So this is a different group. This is a group that kind of, they like each other. They like the team that they have, and they're not going to get frustrated over what the front office does or doesn't do, which is kind of crazy because you don't really see that much. Usually teams get flustered by that stuff. This team's kind of unwavering in its attitude.
Yeah, and listen, you've seen Red Sox teams in the past couple of years get upset by that. You saw the manager, Alex Cora, get publicly prickly about it, and I wonder if maybe – we heard last year, I remember him very famously saying, like, we're not going to struggle anymore. We're not going to have these kind of problems anymore at the end of the year. You come to a trade deadline, it's the same kind of nothing trade deadline, but Alex Cora's reaction this year, very, very different. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was because he was in the room and he sees how things go. There was a lot going on, and he can, he's never been in the room like that at the trade deadline as it goes down right at the end. And so maybe that's the case, but also maybe, he also needs to, he also knows he needs to have a good attitude, like maybe his players, like he's sharing the same attitude as his players. He sees it with them, after the Devers trade and everything, and the way that they talk about things and the way that they don't sulk. This is kind of a wild team, right? Like, they look like, the team from the past couple of years as they're going 5 games under 500 at one point this year and not playing well. But all of a sudden, like, they've really turned it on. They're having fun out there. They're doing their turbulence celebration. They're just kind of having fun. Like guys like, Trevor Story, who, was 0 for everything in May is one of the more effective hitters and, on the team right now and he has over 70-something RBIs. So, like, a lot of, like, the veterans and a lot of the kids are kind of coming together. And, I think that it's an important road trip, though. Like, I think they're, like, 5 games under 500 on the road this year, whereas opposed to, like, 17. They're up, they're 17 games over, I think, 500 at Fenway or something like that. So, it's actually weird because they haven't played well at Fenway, as we know, but they also did play well on the road last year. Like, so, last year they were a 500, they were under 500, they were 5 games under 500 at home and 5 games over 500 on the road. So, like, they need to play a little bit better here on the road because this is an important stretch here with San Diego and Houston.
We're talking with Christopher Smith from Mass Live. The big news of the last 24, 48 hours now, Chris, that would be the Roman Anthony extension. Who do you think took a bigger risk here? The team making a big commitment to a player this young who's only been in the majors for less than 2 months, or the player taking what could end up being considerably less money than he could have been making otherwise?
Yeah, I think it's the player. And if you had asked me this question, though, at the beginning of the year with Christian Campbell and his $60 million, I was like, wow, he left a ton on the table. And right now he's down at AAA. So, but I think that Roman Anthony is a special type of player. I mean, I think Christian Campbell is going to be a really good player in this league. But, Roman Anthony to me reminds me of like a generational type, like Bryce Harper type talent, Mike Trout type talent. I'm not saying that he's gonna be them, but he has that ability. I mean, he's 21. He's had, not only did he hit the ball hard, and that goes to show you something, right? Like, I mean, he had, by the first week of the season, he had an exit velocity of more on one of his hits or one of the balls off of his bat than Alex Bregman has ever had in his career. And so, like, he hits the ball hard. All those, like, advanced metrics and all that are there. He hits the ball really far, and he hits it hard. But also, you look at him during the games, and his approach is just awesome, and he gets on base all the time. He's going to be a really good player. So, I mean, he may have left some money on the table. He probably did leave some money on the table, but that's nice security for him too, right? Like, he's 21 years old,
right,
and he knows, So I think it works out for both sides. I don't think this is going to come back to haunt the Red Sox at all. I think he's the real deal.
What do you think of John Henry in the reporting that I read, telling Anthony that there was going to be an offer, and then Breslow in the front office emailing Anthony and the agent instead of just going through the agent? What did you make of that?
Who had that report? I didn't even see that report.
I believe it was Spear. Spear had that one. Yeah, Spear had that.
Okay, yeah, I've been a little out of loop. So what are you saying? It happened. So he, say it one more time.
Okay, sorry. According to Spear, John Henry gave Roman Anthony a heads up saying, "Hey, we're going to make you an offer," and then an email came from Craig Breslow that was addressed to both Anthony and the agent. And Anthony leapt at it, obviously, and the inference was that if he had just gone through the agent and not roped Anthony in on it, then the agent would have said, "No, we're not talking about this until the fall."
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty incredible, right? Like, I think
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah. Players have a say. Like, agents are going to sometimes not be as receptive to deals. And so, like, we've seen that before. There's like, that was very similar to Bogarts in a way, like with Scott Boras the first time that they were, negotiating. Scott Boras, he's a guy that goes to free agency, right? And like, Xander Bogaerts wanted to stay in Boston. Mm-hmm. And they got the deal done that first time. And so, I think that it's important, like, that he does want to stay in Boston, that he wants to play here. I think it's like he's going to be a leader on this team, for years to come. He's got that attitude. I can't believe, like, just looking at him at 21, like, that type of personality that he has and how calm he is and how much he'll just go up and talk to the media in front of after every game, win or lose, and say the right thing. He's already got it. I was telling my father the other day, actually, I was like, I wish he had a little bit more of a Bryce Harper type attitude. Like,
a little edgier.
That's a clown question, bro. And, kind of like, but I think he's going to have more of a Jeter-like approach. And that's not a bad thing, right? Like, Jeter made it work for a long time in New York. Like, he always said the right thing. He was always there. And I think he has that ability to be that type.
I'd say Jeter did okay for himself, sure. What was it that Harper, what was the clown craze? It was about like beer or something, right?
Yeah.
And he wasn't 21 yet? Isn't that what it was?
Yeah. So they were in Toronto. Right, and somebody asked him, like, one of the reporters, like, are you going to have a celebratory beer after this? And the media relations said, he's not 21 yet. And it was a clown question. Like, the reporter from, Toronto was like, well, you don't have to be 21 to drink in Toronto. I think the age is 18. So he's like, you don't have to be 18. And so Bryce Harper is, just like 19 years old at the time of what I was, just looked down the street and was like, that's a clown question, bro. That's awesome.
Tough. What's the worst you ever gotten there from a player in a Q&A like that?
The first year I covered the Red Sox, in 2010, I was just kind of going in there, not every day or whatever. Mm-hmm. I was in there the day that the All-Stars were announced. And so Adrian Beltre had gotten an All-Star nod for the first time in his career. And, So I was trying to get as many quotes on Adrian Beltre as possible, and so I was interviewing Dustin Pedroia in a scrum, and somebody had already asked him about Adrian Beltre, but didn't necessarily like that answer that he gave, so I wanted a little bit more. I wanted a little bit more for my story. So I asked him kind of a similar question, but it wasn't the same question. And he just lit me up. He's like, were you not paying attention? What are you doing, man? What's going on here? And so I got it quite a few times during 2010 from a few players. Dustin Pedroia, Jonathan Papelbon got at me one time. It was an interesting thing. It was an interesting time covering that because I was in my mid-20s at that point.
Sure.
And I wouldn't fire back myself. Now, obviously, I would fire back at the player and joke around too. But yeah, I was pretty embarrassed after that Pedroia one.
Well, it's made you the man you are today. Christopher Smith, thanks so much for the time tonight. Always great to hear from you. Enjoy San Diego, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, have a good one.
All right, very good. That's Christopher Smith live from sunny San Diego.